Hi friends, today let us discuss about National Multidimensional Poverty Index. Before going to discuss about Multidimensional Poverty Index, let me briefly explain what exactly meant by poverty. From sociological point of view, poverty is considered as a social and economic deprivation of the people. When people do not have the access to the resources which are essential for the economic development, and such condition is known as poverty. So generally poverty results into social discrimination, exploitation and marginalization. So if any person is not in a position to fulfill their basic needs, and such situation is known as poverty. And poverty has been defined by World Bank in a specific way. If you look at the World Bank definition, according to the World Bank, poverty is pronounced deprivation in well-being. It is a pronounced deprivation in well-being. The poor are those who do not have sufficient income or consumption to rise above an adequate minimum threshold. The international poverty line, which is used to measure extreme poverty in low income economies, is set at $3 per person per day based on 2021 purchasing power parity. So, according to the World Bank, every person, especially the low income uh, economies, every person need at least $3 to meet their basic needs. So that means those who are not able to spend at least $3 per day per person, and such condition is known as poverty. According to Niti Aayog, poverty is measured by setting a poverty line. That is, the poverty line is fixed on the basis of the minimum expenditure needed to meet basic socially acceptable needs, and the poverty ratio denotes the share of the population living below this line. That means the poverty line is determined on the basis of the per capita monthly consumer expenditure. So the per capita monthly consumer expenditure is set through different surveys, and those whose expenditure is below the per capita monthly consumer expenditure, and those people are considered as the poor, and they are considered as the people who are below poverty line. Then according to certain socio-economic studies, poverty is classified into four types. One is extreme poverty. That extreme poverty is defined as surviving on less than $3 per persons per day at the year 2021 purchasing power parity. So actually this is set by the World Bank. So that means according to World Bank, people who are not in a position to spend at least $3 per day, they come under the category of the extreme poverty. Apart from this, there is another type of poverty called relative poverty. Relative poverty is the poverty measured in relation to the economic status of society. That means every society set certain standard of living. So if the people are not able to lead their life according to such set standards, they are called they are uh, considered as suffering with a relative poverty. So sometimes people might be fulfilling their basic needs, but they are not able to lead the life according to the set standards in a given society. That is called relative poverty. Then third type is multidimensional poverty. This is a UNDP has developed a multidimensional poverty index. This multidimensional poverty index considers multiple deprivations like health, education, and standard of living, not just income. So that means where that means the deprivation of the people in terms of health, education, and standard of living are taken into consideration to fix the multidimensional poverty index, and those who are deprived of these three, they come under the category of multidimensional poverty index. Then fourth one is consumption based poverty. This consumption based poverty is measured using household consumption expenditure. So keeping these aspects in view, government of India has conducted national family and health surveys, and on the basis of that data, they have developed national multidimensional poverty index. Now uh, we need to discuss about this national multidimensional poverty index. But before that, uh, according to the government of India reports, it is said that as far as extreme poverty is concerned, poverty in India has decreased significantly, with extreme poverty dropping to approximately 2.3% by 2023-24. That means, according to the data at present, the people who are suffering with extreme poverty are around only 2.3%. So this is compared to 21.9% in 2011 and 12. So that means the major declines in both rural and urban areas are attributed to economic growth and welfare programs. Although debate, there is so much of debate that's going on with regard to the measurement of poverty in India. So now uh, the debate is whether there is a poverty in India or not. And according to the statistics, almost the extreme poverty has been eliminated. Today, people are able to fulfill their basic needs. But however, in India we have multidimensional poverty, not extreme poverty. So that means we have, we can say, relative poverty or multidimensional poverty rather than extreme poverty. Then, keeping this in view, the present lecture mainly focuses on the discussion related to the National Multidimensional Poverty Index, and this is based on the National Multidimensional Poverty Index report published by Government of India in 2023. This is India National Multidimensional Poverty Index, a progress review 2023. And now let us analyze certain facts related to the multidimensional poverty index. If you look at the data based on the multidimensional poverty index report 2023, based on the latest national health and family survey, that's called NFHS, National Family and Health Survey 2019-21. The second edition of the National Multidimensional Poverty Index represent India's progress in reducing multidimensional poverty between the two surveys. National Family and Health Survey 4 was conducted during 2015-16, and National Family and Health Survey 5th survey was conducted between 2019-21. So based on this data, it builds on the baseline report of India's national MPI launched in November 2021. Then according to this report, 135 million people escaped multidimensional poverty between 2015-16 and 2019-21. So this is the official data provided by Government of India. That is 135 million people. They have come out from the poverty line, especially multidimensional poverty line. So according to this data, the country registered a significant decline of 9.89 percentage points in India, multidimensionally poor from 24.8% in 2015-16 to 14.96% in 2019-21. So this data is very important. So here there are 3 points. One is 135 million people have escaped from the multidimensional poverty between 2015 to 2021. Then this multidimensional poverty has reduced from 24.85% in 2015-16 to 14.96% in 2019-21. Then there is a disparity between rural and urban areas. The rural areas witnessed a fastest decline in poverty from 32.59% to 19.28%, providing multidimensional poverty estimates for the 36 states and union territories and 707 administrative districts. The report states that the fastest reduction in the proportion of multidimensional poor was observed in the states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, and Rajasthan. This point is very important from examination point of view. The first one, again I am repeating, in rural areas, poverty has reduced from 32.59% to 19.28%. Then as far as the proportion of multidimensional poor, when it is observed, the data states that it has there is a fastest reduction in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, and Rajasthan. Then now let us see what are the indicators that are used to measure multidimensional poverty index. So this MPI constitute of mainly 3 components. One is health. So health is one component, then education is another component, and standard of living is another component. And these 3 are given equal weightage. This is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Then as far as health is concerned, the health status of the people is measured in terms of nutrition, child and adolescent mortality, then maternal health. These are the 3 indicators related to the health. So this is given weightage like this. These are the weightage given for each component. Nutrition is given 1/6 weightage. Child and adolescent mortality is given 1/12 weightage, and maternal health is given 1/12 weightage. So this is about the health. Then when it comes to the education is measured through 2 parameters. One is years of schooling, then school attendance. These 2 are given equal weightage. 1/6 and 1/6 weightage is provided for years of schooling and school attendance. So these are the 2 indicators related to education. Then another important one, standard of living. The standard of living is measured in terms of number 1, cooking fuel, sanitation, drinking water, housing, electricity, assets, and bank account. These are the important indicators to measure the standard of living of the people. So all these are given equal weightage, that is 1/21. So on the whole, we can say that multidimensional poverty index has taken these indicators into consideration to measure the multidimensional poverty index. That is, again I am repeating, nutrition, child and adolescent mortality, maternal health. These 3 are related to health. Years of schooling and school attendance related to education. Then with regard to the standard of living, the parameters are cooking fuel, sanitation, drinking water, housing, electricity, assets, and bank account. So all these parameters are defined by this report. This report has given a description that what are the aspects that are taken into consideration for each parameter. So that description now I would like to give here. Just look at this point. Yeah, whatever the uh, indicators we have discussed now, the description with regard to those indicators is provided here. So definitions of indicators in India's National Multidimensional Poverty Index. The first one is nutrition. A household is considered deprived if any child between the ages 0 to 59 months or women between the ages of 15 to 49 years or a man between the ages of 15 to 54 years for whom nutritional information is available is found to be undernourished. So that means the children, those who are in the age group of 0 to 59, and women between 15 and 49, and man, that means male between 15 and 54, if they are deprived of malnutrition, nutritive food, right, they are considered as uh, the they are depriving of the nutrition. Then second one is child and adolescent mortality. A household is deprived if any child or adolescent under 18 years of age has died in the household in the 5-year period preceding the survey. The data is collected with regard to this information, right? With regard to these kind of events. That is, a household is deprived in terms of what? Child and adolescent mortality. If any child or adolescent under 18 years of age has died in the household in the 5-year period preceding the survey. Next one is maternal health. A household is deprived if any woman in the household who has given birth in the 5 years preceding the survey has not received at least 4 antenatal care visits for the most recent birth or has not received assistance from trained skilled medical personnel during the most recent childbirth. This is about maternal health. Then next one is years of schooling. A household is deprived if not even one member of the household aged 10 years or older has completed 6 years of schooling. Then next indicator is school attendance. A household is deprived if any school aged child is not attending school up to the age at which she would complete actually this is the primary school is taken into consideration, complete the class up to the level of primary school. Then cooking fuel. A household is deprived if a household cooks with dung, agricultural crops, shrubs, wood, charcoal, or coal. Next one is sanitation. A household is deprived if the household has unimproved or no sanitation facility, or it is improved but shared with other households. Then drinking water. A household is deprived if the household does not have access to improved drinking water or safe drinking water is at least a 30-minute walk from home as a round trip. Housing. A household is deprived if the household has inadequate housing, the floor is made of natural materials, or the roof or wall are made of rudimentary materials. Next one is electricity. A household is deprived if the household has no electricity. Assets. A household is deprived if the household does not own more than one of these assets, like radio, TV, telephone, computer, animal cart, bicycle, motorbike, refrigerator, and does not own a car or truck. Then bank account. A household is deprived if no household member has a bank account or a post office account. So these are the indicators and the definitions provided for those indicators. So taking these indicators in view, the multidimensional poverty index is measured. Now let us look at the highlights of multidimensional poverty index progress report 2023. So this data is very important from examination point of view. The student is supposed to present this kind of statistical data when they write about poverty and multidimensional poverty index. Now, first one, let us look at this one. Steep decline in poverty headcount ratio. So the report says that there is a steep decline in poverty headcount ratio. In 2015, it was 24.85%, but whereas by 2021, it has reduced to 14.96%. So that means from the poverty headcount ratio point of view, the poverty has reduced, that is multidimensional poverty has reduced from 24.85% to 14.96%. Then another one, due to the various development programs, welfare schemes, and many other initiatives of the government of India and respective state governments, around 135 million people, that is 30.5 crore people, escaped multidimensional poverty between 2015-16 to 2019-21. So all this is mainly because of the economic growth and economic development in the country, and especially with regard to the poverty alleviation. Government of India has initiated several schemes since 1970s onwards. Here I would like to mention that in 1978-79, Government of India has initiated a program called IRDP, Integrated Rural Development Program. And through this IRDP program, millions of employment opportunities have been generated for the poor people, especially in rural areas. And in 1999, IRDP has been restructured and renamed as Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana. And through this scheme, the poor are encouraged to form self-help groups, and more than 6 lakh self-help groups were formed under SGSY, and all those self-help groups were provided vocational training or some kind of professional training, and they are also provided financial support by linking them to the banks, so that a large number of people through self-help groups have initiated many self-employment activities. So because of that, the family income has increased very much, especially among the poor people. Then later on, SGSY was restructured and renamed as NRLM, National Rural Livelihoods Mission, in 2011. And now it is still continuing. And through NRLM, livelihood opportunities are created for a large number of people in rural areas, so that people are able to generate additional income for their families. And most of the poor people have come out from the clutches of unemployment and poverty. They are able to improve their economic status. And apart from that, Government of India also initiated another flagship program called Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, through which at least 100 days of uh, employment is provided uh, to all the people, especially for the poor people. So MGNREGS has also benefited millions of people in rural areas. Then apart from that, Government of India is providing the vocational skills or professional skills through which people can get some employment in the job market, not only in Indian job market, but in a global job market. And those schemes are like Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Vikas Yojana and also Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So through these schemes, large number of youth have got benefited and they got employment opportunities. So because of this also their economic status has improved. So then another important scheme known as Pradhana Mantri Mudra Yojana, which has encouraged for the establishment of small enterprises, and those who establish such kind of enterprises are provided financial support under this scheme. So like that, various initiatives of the government of India has contributed for the reduction in the poverty, uh, reduction in the poverty among the rural and urban masses. So according to this report, it is said around 135 million people have escaped from the multidimensional poverty. So this is with regard to this aspect. Then another one, now India is on track to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals target 1.2. So reducing multidimensional poverty by at least half. That's what SDG target 1.2 states. So now India has already achieved this. So India has on track to achieve the sustainable development goals of target 1.2. Then all 12 indicators have shown improvement, suggesting that impact of government interventions in is increasingly visible on ground. As I said, all the development schemes initiated by the government of India for the past many decades have resulted into the decrease in poverty. And already I have mentioned about IRDP, SGSY, NRLM, MGNREGS. So all these schemes have contributed for the reduction in poverty. Then this data says that the multidimensional poverty in rural areas has reduced from 32.59% in 2015-16, it has reduced to 19.28% by 2019-21. So this is a drastic reduction in terms of MPI in rural areas. Then similarly, if you look at the data with regard to urban areas, in urban areas also the multidimensional poverty has reduced from 8.65% in 2015-16 to 5.27% by 2019-21. So this is the reduction from 8.65% to 5.2827%. Then as I have stated, the states like UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, and Rajasthan recorded steepest decline in number of MPI poor. Then the MPI value states that there is an improvement in nutrition, year of schooling, sanitation, and cooking fuel played a significant role in reducing the MPI value. So whatever we have discussed, the description is given here. Then taking all these parameters into consideration, we can state that it is a major contribution towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goal Target 1.2 that aims to reduce at least by half the proportion of men, women, and children of all ages living in poverty in all its dimensions according to national definitions. This indicates that India is well on course to achieve the SDG 1. Target 1.2 much ahead 2030. At the same time, the intensity of poverty, which measures the average deprivation among the people living in multidimensional poverty, also reduced from 47.14% to 44.39%. This is again very important from examination point of view. This is with regard to the intensity of poverty. The intensity of poverty has reduced from 47.14 to 14% to 44.39%. Then, as I said just now, disparities across rural and urban areas, while disparities in multidimensional poverty still exist between rural and urban areas, with the proportion of multidimensional poor in 2019-21 being 19.28% in rural areas compared to 5.27 in urban areas. So that means still there is a disparity between rural areas and urban areas. So the multidimensional poverty is still high in rural areas, that is 19.28%, whereas it is less in less in urban areas, that is 5.27%. So this is the data with regard to the MPI index value, then head count ratio, and intensity of poverty. So if you look at this data, already we have discussed about this. In 2019-21 in rural areas, according to the head count ratio, the multidimensional poverty is 19.28% and intensity of poverty is 44.5%. However, when compared to this with the 2015-16 data, the head count ratio was 32.59%. So it has reduced to 19.28%. And intensity of poverty has also reduced from 47.38% to 44.55%. Then if you look at the data with regard to the urban areas, the head count ratio, it is in 2019 21, it is 5.27, and 15-16 it was 8.65%. The intensity of poverty, it was 40.27%. Now it has reduced to 43.10%. That means on the whole, the intensity of poverty has reduced both in rural areas as well as urban areas. Then if we look at the data with regard to multidimensional poverty index in different states, this data is useful for competitive examinations, especially for objective type of questions. If you look at the state-wise data, in Bihar, the multidimensional poverty index has reduced from 51.89% to 33.76%. Just now I told you these are the states which are the fastest, where there was a fastest reduction in multidimensional poverty. Then Jharkhand, it has reduced from 42.1% to 28.81%. Then Meghalaya from 32.6% to 27.79%. Then Uttar Pradesh 37.68% to 22.93%. Then Madhya Pradesh from 36.57 to 20.63%. Then Assam 32.65% to 19.35%. Chhattisgarh 29.90 to 16.37. Odisha 29.34% to 15.68%. So like that, if you look at the different states, the now MPI, that is multidimensional poverty, in different states, it is at present, it is in Nagaland, it is around 15.43, Rajasthan 15.31, Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh 13.76%, Tripura 13.11%, West Bengal 11.89%, Gujarat 11.66%, then Uttarakhand 9.67%, Manipur 8.10%, Maharashtra 7.81%, Karnataka 7.58%, Haryana 7.07%, Andhra Pradesh 6.06%, Telangana 5.88%, Mizoram 5.30%, then Himachal Pradesh 4.93%, Punjab 4.75%, Sikkim 2.60%, Tamil Nadu 2.20%, Goa 0.84%, Kerala 0.55%, then Daman and Diu 9.21%, Daman and Diu, then Jammu and Kashmir 4.80%, Ladakh 3.53%, Chandigarh 3.52%, Delhi 3.43%, Andaman and Nicobar Islands 2.30%, Lakshadweep 1.11%, then Puducherry 0.85%. So this data is useful for the students, especially for the multiple choice questions. So if we go by the report, it says that in different states, the MPI has drastically reduced when compared to 2015-16 data. And the states, those who are at this bottom level, those states have very less uh, percentage of the total population who are multidimensionally poor in those states. For example, if you look at the state like Kerala, where only 0.55% are with multidimensional poverty, and the state like Tamil Nadu only 2.20%, then the states like Punjab 4.75%. Like that, there are certain states where the multidimensional poverty is very less. Then if we look at the data in terms of different dimensions, I told you there are three important dimensions related to the measurement of multidimensional poverty index. Those dimensions are health, education, and standard of living. This health, education, and standard of living. So the data shows that how uh, there is an improvement in terms of health, then education, and standard of living. If we compare the data between 2015-16 and 2019-21 data, because these two NFHS surveys were conducted uh, during that time. So if we compare the results of NFHS 2015-16 and NFHS 2019-21, it shows that there is so much of improvement. With regard to the health, if you look at the data related to nutrition, right? the deprivation in terms of nutrition has reduced from 2015 to 2021. If you look at this data, in 2015 it was 37.16, but whereas it has reduced to 31.52%. Then with regard to the child and adolescent mortality, in 2015-16 it was 2.69%. That has reduced to 2.06%. Then with regard to maternal health, it was 22.58% in 2015-16, whereas it has reduced to 19.17%. Then years of schooling, in 2015 it was 13.86%. It has reduced to 11.40%. That means the children attending the school and studying for number of years has increased when compared to the past. Then school attendance has also increased. That means the dropout from the school has also reduced when compared to the past. Then with regard to the standard of living, number one is cooking fuel. The deprivation was 58.47%. That has reduced to 43.90. Then sanitation, 51.88% were deprived of proper sanitation. It has reduced to 30.13%. Then with regard to drinking water, 10.29% of the people were deprived of the proper drinking water. That has reduced to 7.32% by 2021. Then coming to electricity, 12.16% were deprived of electricity, whereas it has reduced to 3.27%. Then housing, with regard to housing, 45.65% of the people were deprived of housing facility, but whereas it has reduced to 41.37%. Then assets, 13.97% were deprived of the various types of assets, as I have described in the definition related to assets. Now that has reduced to 10.16%. Then with regard to the bank account, 9.66%. In 2015-16, those who did not have the bank account or post office account were 9.66%. Now that has reduced to 3.69%. So this data shows that there is an improvement in the standard of living of the people when compared to past. So based on this, we can conclude that India's National Multidimensional Poverty Index report underlines the government's standard of living, that is 2015-16, standard of living 2019-21. So it shows that the people who used to live below the set standard of living, their number was 9.6% in 2015-16. That has reduced to 3.69%. That means the standard of living of the people has improved when compared to 2015-16 data. Then bank account programs rolled out at both the national and commitment to understanding, measuring and addressing many dimensions of poverty and leveraging this understanding as a key tool in policy making. The baseline report of the national MPI has been pivotal in raising awareness among the state governments, academia, civil society, and citizens about the significance of using multidimensional poverty measures as both a potent policy instrument as well as a mechanism to measure progress. Consequent to the release of the baseline report of National MPI, several MPICC meetings were convened for preparation of reform action plans, taking into account their priorities and department challenges. Various ministries and departments have prepared action plans. More than 50 reform actions have been identified in 16 reform areas such as nutrition, financial inclusion, education, rural development, and housing, among others. The ministries, in collaboration with states, have started implementing these reforms. India's stellar progress on the national MPI between 2015-16 and 2019-21 reflects the government's commitment to improve the quality of people's lives through targeted policies, schemes, and developmental subnational levels. The government focus on investments in critical areas of education, nutrition, water, sanitation, cooking fuel, electricity, and housing has played a pivotal role in driving these positive outcomes. This point is very important because all these initiatives of the government of India has resulted into the reduction in the extreme poverty as well as multidimensional poverty. Then uh, in order to reduce the poverty in India, government has initiated several schemes like the key governmental schemes such as Swachh Bharat Mission, then Jal Jeevan Mission, Poshan Abhiyan, Samagra Shiksha, Pradhana Mantri Sahaj Bijli Ghar Yojana, that's called Saubhagya, Pradhana Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, Pradhana Mantri Awas Yojana, and many more have contributed significantly in driving the tremendous progress presented in this report. Then, as I told just now, government is implementing several development schemes for the benefit of the poor, especially like MGNREGS. Now that has been renamed as VBG Ramji Bill. Government of India has initiated VBG Ramji Bill last year, and apart from that, MG NRLM, National Rural Livelihoods Mission, then Pradhana Mantri Mudra Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana, Pradhana Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So all such kind of schemes have contributed to improve the economic status and living standards of the people. So all these initiatives together ultimately resulted into the reduction in extreme poverty as well as multidimensional poverty. Then at the end, we can state that the findings from the second edition of the National Multidimensional Poverty Index will serve as a valuable resource for states and union territories to identify and amplify actions that have triggered progress since the finding of the baseline report right up to the district level. It will also enable them to track the progress of the vulnerable hotspots and pinpoint areas that require further targeted policy interventions and programmatic action. Niti Aayog, along with other line ministries, is committed to providing continuous support to the state in formulating and implementing effective reform action plans. So, these are the important aspects related to multidimensional poverty index. So, whatever we have discussed so far, all these points are helpful for the students to prepare for various competitive examinations, and this data is also useful to present an answer in a descriptive way as well as even for objective type of questions. Thank you.